We've just heard on the news there, actually, that another MP, Aaron Bell, has put in his letter, Georgia, to the 1922 committee. He's not really a surprise given his comments on Monday, is he, though?
No, absolutely. He expressed, obviously, some very passionate remarks on Monday, talking about sort of his own family experiencing COVID and deaths in his family, I believe, during that period of obviously the lockdowns. And he sort of touched on, the hypocrisy of the parties, etc. So, in this case, it was probably only a matter of time before he submitted a letter. But I guess it is just sort of another brick in the wall, if that's the right phrase, for Boris Johnson in this situation right now.
Another brick in the face.
What do you make of it, John? Another letter goes in, and of course all of those resignations that we had over this past 24 hours.
So I think the damaging resignation was his director of policy, because she attacked him directly for bringing a far-right smear from the edges of the internet into the House of Commons. And in that way, it was a very traditional conservative approach. It was saying a conservative MP, a conservative prime minister, shouldn't act like a member of the EDL. And I think that was a very damaging one, and probably it rocked the party. I think that you could see that the backbenchers were not happy with the way the prime minister used this and then defended it. Ministers weren't happy. So I think that was very damaging. I think the reorganisation number 10 had been trailed. People were going to go. They're hard to replace. It's hard to find a good chief of staff. I've been a chief of staff a couple of times. It's a really demanding role. Yeah. And I think this Aaron Bell letter is the drip, drip, drip gives you a sense of feeling of authority ebbing away. It may not. They may regroup, but you just feel like getting close to a contest now.
Well, and you're absolutely right in relation to the Chief of Staff. It's a very personal relationship that you have to have with the leader in those sorts of circumstances. And undoubtedly, Munira had that personal relationship with Boris Johnson. But as regards the other resignations yesterday, Georgia, I mean, a lot of Tory loyalists and supporters of Boris Johnson would say this is exactly what the PM said he was going to do. He said he was going to make a change in Downing Street, and this is the start of that change. Has that not got any validity?
Yeah, so from what I can see, other than Munira Mirza, all of these were sort of pre-planned and they were jumping before they were pushed, so to speak. The problem is that this still, we don't know who's going to replace them. Are they going to be any better? And also, at the end of the day, this is all self-inflicted. The parties, for example, Boris Johnson was the Prime Minister. He did have authority over that and he did let it slide. And I think from what we can tell, he's not particularly... it doesn't seem to me as if this is something that sort of keeps him up at night, the guilt. I think it's more that he's been found out about it, basically. And so I agree with you about that. However, it's just one of a number of things. And like I'm saying, it's self-inflicted, so it still looks bad. We don't know who's going to replace them. And the Munira Mirza issue, of course, she did refer to those Jimmy Savile comments. I think we can all agree that those are inappropriate and obviously inaccurate.